Hello, lovely people. I hope we're all having a wonderful weekend. And today I wanted to talk about protecting your vibration in the workplace. So, I first want to start off and tell you a story about a gentleman that contacted me. This is going back a while now, but he had found me through Facebook and knew that I was a psychic medium and knew that I did energy clearings and property clearings. And he called me and wanted me, well, first he wanted me to come in and talk to him. And he was very frantic at this point, was, you know, kind of at the last straw, I guess. And what was happening was he had just built or had moved into a new building space. And, he had so many issues, so many things, shipments being canceled and different problems, which I can't remember anymore. But I remember him saying, since I moved into this new building, it's just been a nightmare with, stuff in the job, with me, my marriage is falling apart. Every day I come into work, I'm crying and I feel like I can't stop and I just feel like really low energy. And so he wanted to know if I could do a clearing. So of course I did a clearing. After the clearing, his marriage shot back up and they were all happily, it was happy ever after. And things moved forward for him and he felt a lot better. So, the reason why I tell you that story is because I'm talking about vibration and your energy, excuse me, in the workplace. But I also want to share with you that there are different things to consider. There's different levels to energy um, that we're talking about here. So, I will try not to get off topic too much. But because I started with that story, let me talk about that story and just how that relates. So, just opened, actually, it was a beautiful community. It was a beautiful building. He had a nice shop. Um, so really, when you look at it in that perspective, there's really no reason for any of this to happen. But putting on my psychic medium hat on and how when I went and did the clearing, there were energies that were lingering in that space. Now, it's a new building, so why are they there? It's it happens because there's a vibration and an energy to the land around us. And so in this particular piece of land, um, it was just lower frequency on this piece of land that he put his building on. And so being on the land can affect us and affect our energy because, it's the same as if you walk into a house that's empty because you're house hunting and all of a sudden you feel like you just want to cry. You feel so sad, or you leave and you feel sad and you're crying all night and you're like, what's going on? I don't get it. I don't understand. Chances are it's the energy in the house, or it could be the land. Because we all know that sometimes there's property on burial grounds, on sacred lands, on, residential schools where there was murders, a lot of deaths, as in, a hospital, on the land of where a hospital once sat. And that energy stays around unless it's properly cleared by somebody or some sort of ceremony is done. Now, back in the day, we probably did that a lot. And now it's something we don't do. And in fact, some people might even um, call me fluffy because I'm even mentioning that. But I've seen it often, so it's true. I've lived it. So I'm going to talk about that aspect to it. So not only the land, but then it could be the building. And of course, we all know that someone may have died in a house, or someone was murdered in a house, or there was just like lots of arguments and conflict in that house, a lot of disease or illness. The energy and frequency in buildings as well can affect us, as it affected this gentleman that contacted me. And so in our workplace, the same thing goes. And I don't think it's something that a lot of people often think about or even consider unless it's something that's within your realm of knowledge and something you think about all the time. And I know that in some workplaces or some typical jobs, you might be around a lot of lower vibrational people. And I'm not trashing anybody or saying anything bad about any type of job or anything like that. That's not what this is about. But it is about, if you think about, even if I have a store and I have 10 employees in that store, and I have one employee that experienced um, being in a place uh, or yeah, being in a place where he experienced or she experienced death or war, civil war, and a lot of fighting or unrest in his country, his or her country. And someone else is living with domestic violence, and someone else is living with obesity, and chronic illness, and someone else has a child or an adult child that is, having issues and problems. Do you see what I mean? There's people, we come into contact with all types of people, and that's wonderful. But the thing that we don't consider is that when we are going to a job or a workplace, is that just as, if you think about it, if you are in a workplace and I'm in that same company and it's eight females, our menstrual cycles will begin to sync up. And so just as that happens, the vibration of all those people and the energy that is collective in this workspace starts to sync up and intertwine with each other as well. And we know this, right? We know that if that in a room of 10 people, one person can affect the energy of that whole room. So we know that this can happen. And so, but we don't often think about it. So that's why I really, excuse me, wanted to talk about that today. So, um, that's one thing to consider is that we may go to work and maybe there's even someone that really triggers us often. And we just think it's the person, but truly it's their energy. It's what they're vibrating at. And maybe their frequency is the same as your frequency, but it's vibrating at in a different way. Or it's like a plus and a plus and a minus, or the magnet, how one repels the other. And we know this as well, if we kind of put a different hat on and think about dating for a moment. And we know that if we are heartbroken, we had a relationship and it ended and we're heartbroken and we want nothing to do with the opposite sex or the same sex. We just don't want anything to do with dating. And when we are out walking around, you can tell that there's no one coming towards us because we have an energy to us that's repelling people. But when we're in a our heart is open and our vibration is high, you might notice that a lot of people are drawn to you. And that's why. So we do know that energy and vibration always play a role. Everything we do, we're interacting at an energetic level with people. And so when we're in the workplace, we have to start to be aware of that, especially if you are in a career where you've been there for a long time and you plan to retire, stay till you can get your pension and that, you can start to see, and I've seen it happen, and I watched, or I was a part of it when it happened to me in my career, is that slowly, slowly, every day, some energy is taken away. And I do want to say before I forget this point that every interaction that we have is either positive or negative. But what happens is that when we are in our work and in an office or just in our work, that every time we speak, there's an energetic exchange. And it's almost like we give out or people take a little piece of our energy all day. And that's why at the end of the day, you feel exhausted or you don't. But when you do come home and you feel really, so exhausted, you just want to go to bed, you can tell whether your workplace and whether the people that you're around are kind of filling you up or taking from you. And you have to just start to be really aware of that so that you can prepare yourself and protect yourself from the vibration of others, the energy of others, because your energy does touch each other. This vibration and energetic field that is around you is always touching other people's energetic field when you're at work together. And it's either filling you up, like I say, or repelling you. And so, how can we tell when we're in the workplace and when we go to our place of work, whether our vibrations are our energy's been zapped or it's being replenished? You can tell by how you feel with every interaction from people. Because, sometimes you're with someone and you feel like the energy, you literally can feel the energy drain out of you while you're talking to that person, because their vibration and their energy is probably acting and coming from their lower realms of our energy centers. Um, it could be, um, you know, someone is just having a rough time in their life and their vibration is really low. And so you go into their office, let's say, and um, maybe they're experiencing anxiety. You're going to feel that, but you won't take that into account. We don't know it unless you ask them. But when you come back at the end of the day, you'll know. So, kind of um, starting to become aware that we're all energetic beings that vibrate at a certain frequency. And that if you think about this energetic field around you, and when you're walking and people are coming into that field, you're going, or even just close to it, you're going to feel whether they're pushing you or pulling you and how you feel. And so just starting to consider that in the workplace, and ways that we can protect ourselves are setting up a really powerful, or just even any kind of morning ritual or routine, because even just going into work every day, preparing your body, your thoughts, and your energy to go into work and to be around different energetic presence and different vibrations and stuff like that. You really want to be able to set yourself up for success at the beginning of the day. So meditation, being in, taking 15 minutes at least to be able to meditate, pull up your energy, as I always talk about, just pulling your energy up to the crown, putting yourself in a state of gratitude. Um, you know, well, let's take Anthony Robbins. When you go into one of his, Date with Destiny or one of his workshops, he always has high energy because he's doing some kind of practice beforehand to, excuse me, to pump up his energy. And so the music's loud and, upbeat music, and he comes out on stage and he's pumped and he's getting his audience pumped. that's how you prepare for your day. I mean, you don't have to be Anthony Robbins, but just again, it's about elevating your energy with a elevating your energy with an emotion of gratitude. So being in a state of gratitude is great. Whether you do some jumping jacks, take a run down the street, dance around with some music, and tell yourself this is going to be a fantastic day. However you set up your morning, you need to have that morning ritual that you do before going into your day because that sets your state for the day and your mood. So then another thing is, if you are um, into aware of spiritual practices, the Palo Santo sticks and smudging or putting on a bubble suit, an invisible bubble suit that you put over your head, um, setting an intention that your day is going to be great, doing those kinds of things, carrying crystals, black obsidian, snowflake obsidian, some you know something that makes you feel grounded. I used to have a choker that I made out of tiger's eye, and I always wore it around my neck. It was just having that something, feeling that slight pressure on my skin, just like um, sometimes when I'm getting distracted and I'm talking in a video, I like to count on my fingers because it's just something that my brain comes back into focus, and I do that by feeling touch. So the morning routine, and then getting yourself pumped up, and then when you get into work, being aware of the people and of the energy. And some questions that you can ask yourself are, do I feel elevated when I'm coming out of someone's office? Do I feel drained when someone's talking to me? When I enter someone's office, does the energy in there feel heavy? Do I feel tired? How is the main emotions or energy of my workplace, of the people in my office space? Um, you know, are they people that tend to gossip a lot? Are they people that generally have inspirational talk, conversations? Are they enlightening or are they downing? So just really being aware of that kind of stuff when and then um, surrounding your particular workspace with white light is a good thing to do. Setting the intention. Um, you know, I used to have to literally send energy to my work through meditation. I would just visualize energy coming in my head, through my heart, out my hands, down the road to my work, into my office, and surrounding my office. Because I was I was in when I was in my workplace, it was very negative and brought me down, and so I needed to be there for a certain time, and I needed to protect the energy and my space. So you can always do those kinds of things before you go home. Call back your energy to you, to anyone who might have taken it to you throughout the day. When you walk through your door, you might have an amulet, um, hanging from the door space inside the house where it's a crystal, something that is charged with positive energy, that helps just remove it. You might say a word to yourself. Um, you know, it could be shield or when I feel like I'm around people or around an entity or in a place where I don't feel safe, I will say shield. That's my word. And I mean, I'm visual, so I have this whole visualization that happens throughout my body. And then, when you get home, I used to always jump in the shower because, the water just washes off my day. But whatever it is that you do for yourself, the main point is that you do rituals around your whole day. So going to work and then a ritual of coming home because you don't want to bring work home with you at all. And I know that people do this all the time, and I see this happen. And then, unfortunately, when they've been in a job for so long, I've also seen disease and t having to take a lot of time off because of a diagnosis that they've had, or they're just so exhausted. So, your vibration and energy is really a sacred thing. I like to think of like a genie in the bottle for my energy. And I do everything that I possibly can to protect my vibration and my energy because it's really important because that's your vitality, that's your mental well-being. If you have low energy or you're vibrating at a really low vibration, you are open to illness and to, mental health issues. You're just, it's not good. You want to have the energy around you um, always protected. You can always think of too, like there's like a flame within you, and at the end of the day, you push down that flame or blow it down, or go outside. Sorry, this is one thing to do during the day is go outside, take off your shoes, and walk on the earth to get that really good grounding. Anytime that you feel like your energy is, being affected by the vibrations of others. And then just, you know, again, for myself, I like it when I can feel my body. So sometimes during the day, if you know you're going into someone's office, like maybe you're just there and you touch your chest, or you can do these mantras, holding your hands, touching your fingers together. It almost just it's a really grounding um, thing to do, to just before you're dealing with someone that you're really not really comfortable with dealing with, or you're in a space that you're not comfortable being in, to just really find what works for you. But just the main thing is that you're becoming aware of that, and that you're protecting it at all costs, and that you're doing, setting up these rituals that you can do for yourself. Even when you come back from work, having a shower, changing your clothes. Maybe you have a little altar set up at home, with crystals and candles, and you come home and you light a white candle. Um, and you have some incense burning, and or even you can use incense to smudge yourself. It doesn't have to be sweetgrass or sage, or um, maybe you have Florida water, and that's something else that you can get that, I like to, in full moons, put water out and then use the moon water as well as a spray with some dried roses in it, to make it rose water. So there's lots of different things that you can do, but the main thing is to become aware to protect your energy at all costs. So I hope that was informative, you guys. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. I have a lot of people that like the videos or watch the videos, but not a lot of people that subscribe. And you know that it really helps me out as I'm here trying to grow my channel. And I hope you are all having a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.